Of the big animation studios, DreamWorks is the most interesting. I mean, Sony Animated Studio stuff is near universally unwatchable. Illumination stuff is so aggressively mediocre that the only way to review their stuff is in rhyme, just trust me on this. And of course, Disney Pixar are usually the unassailable kings, with Aardman snapping at their heels. But DreamWorks has always veered all over the shop. They've made good films, great films, and borderline unwatchable films. However, whilst most of the praise has gone towards the bafflingly popular Shrek franchise, my favourite work of theirs has been the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, based on some books I've never read. Nor do I intend to, which, despite being awesome films, seem to get very little attention. Starting from the fantastic point of mixing dragons with Vikings, this franchise has amazing action, great characters, incredible visuals, a fast enough pace to gloss over the fact that this franchise has an implied body count in the hundreds if not thousands, great music, and has the rare distinction of actually using Gerard Butler the right way, as a big shouty warrior king.
This is Sparta!
Not only did it do all that right, but they've made a song and dance about how this is the final film in the trilogy, and yeah, I'd agree with that. But there was just something about this film that didn't quite click with me. I mean, it still had amazing animation, great characters, incredible visuals, a fast enough pace to also have the fact this franchise has an implied body count in the hundreds, great music, and the rare distinction of actually using Gerard Butler the right way, a great big shouty warrior king.
This is Sparta!
But despite all that, there was a feeling of a franchise just sort of running slightly out of steam. In theory, the plot is very simple. Group A, nice Vikings and dragons, are running away from Group B, evil Vikings with brainwashed dragons, whilst trying to get to Point C, a hidden world where Vikings and dragons can live in peace. Very simple plot, which I think was actually called Battlestar Galactica the last time I encountered it. The original 70s series, the modern remake just did my head in. However, there's also the subplot of our main characters dealing with the fact they both have partners now, and maybe their worlds aren't meant to mix. I mean, yes, I laughed at the funny bits and my beloved wife cried like a baby at the right bits, but at the same time, there was slightly too much runtime given to characters that speak only in grunts and gurgles. The villain is a bit of a step down from previous entries in the series and would have functioned better as a sidekick or being split into two characters, as he's simply not as menacing as he's built up to be. He wants to be Jafar, but comes across more as Iago, the parrot, not the character from Othello. I'm glad that the franchise tried something new, but it hasn't quite worked. But as he's barely in the movie anyway, I guess it all balances out. Giving some side characters lesser on time, especially one with a really unfunny running joke about a beard, would have made me happier. Also, the music's getting a bit repetitive. Yes, it's lovely that you made a really nice uplifting piece of music, but by the 37th time I've heard it, it's gonna grate a little. Also, it's got this really weird view of relationships, basically that once you find a partner, you can never have fun again. Ever. Under any circumstances. You stay home. At least that was my reading of it, which doesn't tally with my experience of healthy relationships. I mean, look, these minor quibbles aside, this is a very, very good and incredibly definitive ending to one of the most underrated animated trilogies of all time. It looks good, it's got a slightly overlong runtime and the villain could do with an upgrade, but otherwise it's a fantastic end to a very underrated trilogy. I definitely think that you should see it. But what do you guys think? And what animated film are you most looking forward to seeing this year? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.